Good morning, everybody. It is time for Tao of the Day. I am under the cosh, to be quite honest. It looks like I'll be able to do an hour talk today, maybe just a little under. I might only be able to do 45 minutes. So we're going to just launch right in, and we are going to get my notebook so I can take notes. It's good to take notes. I like taking notes. So this is Tao of the Day. If you're not familiar with what Tao of the Day is, Tao of the Day is a moment where we can sit down and talk about the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written about 600 BCE by, presumably, by a man Lao Tzu. And this translates, I like to translate it to the canon of reason. This is the collection of writings that help us understand what it means to live a reasonable life. And what I ask is that you step up to the stage, whoever's out there right now, I want you to step up and pick a number between 1 and 81. You don't have to know anything about the Tao. Actually, each and every one of you is an expression of the Tao, and I would love to have you come up. Empress, it has been a minute. Chicago is beautiful right now, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you.
Why
Em-
are you doing that to me? Because you know I understand what you say.
it is gorgeous out here. Like,
Magnificent. I know this time of year, my God, and everybody is just like in a happy place, you
that's right. The
know.
sun is shining. It is 70 degrees. The
Ah,
sky is sky blue, and everything is
and
in its.
my Lake Michigan is beautiful.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if you followed my romance story, but I fell in love with this woman, Andy Scarantino, who is here on Wisdom, and she came out to Chicago, and she's always loved Chicago, but she came out and she experienced my Chicago. We had some food, and we went
Uh-huh.
to the lake, and we hung out in front of the lake. I took her out to
Yeah.
Montrose Harbor, and we were just kind of like
Oh
just
God,
sitting there in the
yes.
evening, where it gets dark and so beautiful.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I just miss it so much. But this time, but we're gonna be 91 today, so we're having a cool breeze.
Go, girl.
we've we've been 103 for I don't know, and summer has not gotten in Texas yet. So next starting July, it's gonna be like
Wait, it's
112.
103 and the summer has. Oh, fuck
It
me.
has not started yet. No, it starts in July, and that July and August is the worst months of the year.
Now, is this
It-
is this is this standard practice, or is this something that's
This
like,
is standard.
oh fuck? Like, I
It's
keep thinking,
standard.
maybe like even though like I keep getting drawn away from Chicago, I always say, what? Chicago might be fucking amazing once global warming gets in. We got all this water, we got all this, we got like everything.
Yeah. Uh, don't leave it because
But
I'm
like,
coming back. I'm looking at coming back. Seriously.
oh
I am, yeah.
yeah, it's
Because
a
I can't handle this heat. This heat is too much for me. You
yeah. I
know,
hear
you
that. I hear
you
that.
walk out the door and you come back 2 shades darker.
I'm a
It-
ginger. So I'll come back glowing. I'll go out, come back, just glowing red. Does-
okay.
It just does not. I'm just a ginger kid. Just, man, keep me in the shade. Keep.
Okay. I got a number for you.
So, yeah, talk to me.
Number 70.
70, moving right over to 70, just way out there. So number 70. This is a beautiful. It's a short one, but my teachings are easy to understand and easy to put into practice, yet your intellect will never grasp them. And if you try to practice them, you'll fail. My teachings are older than the world. How can you grasp their meaning? If you want to know me, look inside your heart. That's it.
Can you repeat that again? Because I think
Yeah.
that is basically, when I always do my introductions regarding Nirvana lifestyle as being introspective, thought provoking.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so I think that, and inspirational. And so I think it kind of falls into that. The teachings are older than the world. All of my study has been from people who have written these same topics, like back in the 1500s, 1800s.
Hmm.
Uh, it's where I studied, most of my philosophy around spirituality and
Yeah.
things of that nature, because they were really uh, providing that level of information that was pure, ancient, without all of the convoluted stuff that's in it today. It's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff, a lot of fillers added in a lot of these teachings today.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was talking to someone about philosophy and so many philosophical writings, like this is why I lean on the Tao so much, because the Tao is kind of philosophical well
Yes, it
before philosophy,
is. Yeah.
like
Hmm.
was really established as a thing. I mean, we think about Socrates, and we think about Aristotle, and we think about like the idea of writing things down being kind of sacrilegious, because once you write it down, it can't change. And it was always about this idea of just philosophy was just about being in the mind. And I think that the interesting thing here is like, here's a philosophy that is above the mind. So I'm going to read this again as you asked, but I think it's important. My teachings are easy to understand and easy to put into practice, yet your intellect will never grasp them. And if you try to put them into practice, you'll fail. My teachings are older than the world. How can you grasp them? And I want to add to that. How can you, how can you even imagine that you could possibly grasp them? If you
Hmm.
want to know me, look inside your heart. And that's the thing. When we look inside our heart, how quickly just things are I don't want to say things change, but like the solution to a problem will change every time you look into your heart. Because the solution
It's in the
is
heart.
right. And the solution is if the solution is right, and this is the philosophical stance, like there is a right way to do something. There's a right way to go about approaching. When we and I don't know why I'm being called to kind of talk about mental illness at the moment. Like when we are called to work with somebody that has a mental illness, the first thing we want to do is what's their mental illness? And now we have some idea of how to approach it. But if we think one way or the other, I don't care how people think, that everybody has some level of mental illness, or nobody has any level of mental illness. Everybody is just who they are. I don't care how you want to approach that. I prefer to approach it that like there is no mental illness. People just are as they are. And then the solution, when we look into our heart, the solution to how we deal with this moment will change moment to moment.
Hmm. And that's what life is. It's
That's
we
right.
live moment to moment because it is about our evolution process, which never repeats itself.
That's right. And this is the thing, like my teachings are easy to understand and easy to put into practice.
Hmm.
Like when how many of us out here in the world are trying to find the right way of doing things, the right way of parenting, the right way of giving birth, the right way of like what is the right solution for the abortion problem here in the United States or whatever, right? Like what is the right way and here it's saying my teachings are easy to understand and easy to put into practice, but you can't put them into practice for everybody.
Right.
You can only put them into practice for you.
Right. For those who can grasp the understanding of what it is. And, there's another element here that I'm hearing, and that is the element of observation.
Hmm. Continue, my dear.
Yeah, because, we have to, in order for us to understand something, we have to study it. We have to observe everything that is occurring in our environment. What the universe is bringing forth to us to learn, because we're here to master our own study of ourselves.
Yes.
And so, in order to do that, you have to observe or pay attention to those things that cross your path so that you are able to understand what is happening, so that you are able to put it into practice. But the intellect may not necessarily be ready or prepared to process it or grasp it in order for you to experience it.
My teachings are older than the world. How can you fathom grasping their meaning?
Right.
Right? Like the teachings that you're going to be experiencing are older than the world. How can you grasp their meaning? It's not, you're never going to grasp their meaning. And if you
Right.
try to, it's like, this is where the line, yet your intellect will never grasp them, like the
Mm.
the practice or anything. And if
Mm-hmm.
you try to practice them, you're going to fail. This is just like, and this is why like these conversations on Tao of the Day are so open ended. It's just about like, hey, what is this? It's not here to understand.
Right.
There's nothing here to understand. What's
Mm-hmm.
here is for us to open the door and let go. And as you were talking about this concept of observing the last line, if you want to know me, if you want to know me, my teachings, if you want to understand me, my practice, if you want to understand that, look inside your heart. And that's the observation part, right? That's what you're observing. You're observing it in your heart, because that thing outside of you, that that overturned Roe v. Wade, that like that changed rule on Miranda rights, all of this stuff, like your experience of that is what's happening in your heart. Observe that.
Mm-hmm.
The teachings here, the lessons here, are older than the world. And if you think you can grasp them, if you think you can understand them and just say they're wrong and be angry, well then you're missing something. Yes, be angry.
Right.
That's fine. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with that. But look inside your heart. What are you going to do now? And going out and holding a poster somewhere is great. That's wonderful. But what can you do in your life right now that can help you be at ease in the way
Mm-hmm.
things are
Mm.
being experienced in the moment?
Mm. Wow. That is, I just read something very similar to this yesterday. Not quite, but somewhat similar. And in terms of the teachings of the world, the teachings are older than the world. And so
Mhm.
there is no way that we could understand it from the human element, is what it was saying.
Right.
You know.
All of that is just manifestation. We
Mm-hmm.
can't understand the depth underneath it. Like it says here on the second line, your intellect will never grasp them, will never
Mm-hmm.
grasp the teaching. And if you try to put them into practice, you're going to fail.
Right.
Be here. Look inside your heart. Observe.
Mm. Mm. That's beautiful. That's
That's
beautiful.
yeah. And it's so, like I don't like of course, like all of the things that I'm talking about the Supreme Court and all of that kind of stuff. It's like whatever. Like all of those things happened, and it is what it is, as as people say. But we have to like go out and do what we can do to address it, but inside our hearts and find out where we are, you know,
In that
yeah,
situation. Yeah.
in that situation, and
Mm-hmm.
how can we address it in our own personal lives so
Be-
that we can grow.
yeah, because I mean, there's two laws that mankind has to adhere to. It's the law of the universe and the law of the land.
That's
And
right.
sometimes we get confused about which law is the higher law.
Damn right.
Okay. And at the end, in through our eternal ness within our being, we find out that the law of the universe is the higher law. But
Absolutely.
man struggles with both because he needs tangibility. He needs to be able to touch things and have immediacy in his life. So that's where we fail, because if we think that we're going to put them into practice, we fail. We can't change anybody but ourselves.
Yeah. We can't grasp the depth of the universe. We can't. I mean, how
Right.
many of us have experienced something in which everything had to fall into place for this one thing to happen, and this one thing changed the course of our lives? This
Hmm.
one little thing that without a myriad of things, do you think it's an accident? Do you really want to chalk your entire life up to being an accident? Because
Hmm.
we're no accident.
Right. Right. And that's why I say that life is about the experimentation before the experience, because you get your experience out of the experimentation. You got to
Yeah.
try something, do something. Whether you fail or win, the experience comes out of the knowingness of what you actually did or practice or experimented with to find out whether or not it's pliable, feasible, or usable for you.
Yeah. There's everything is out there
So I,
for us. Thank you so much, Empress. I'm so grateful for you coming up. We're going to bring up Dr. Goodman. Again, I am going to be cutting all of this short today. Um, so, Dr. Goodman, how you doing, brother?
Oh, great. And I want to go 72 because I mean,
72.
yeah, I
I'll have
really
to go
like
for
what you
that.
said with 70. So I
Let's,
want to,
let's stay close.
yes, continue.
Let's stay close. All right, 72, another short one, relatively. When they lose their sense of awe, people turn to religion. When they no longer trust themselves, they begin to depend upon authority. Therefore, the master steps back so that people won't be confused. He teaches without teaching so that people will have nothing to learn.
Wow.
I really like how that connects with 70. We were talking in 70 all about
Yeah,
this idea of like my teachings are, easy to understand and easy to put into practice, yet the intellect will never grasp them. And then we were also talking about laws and things. And now we start looking at when they lose their sense of awe, people turn to religion. When they no longer trust themselves, they begin to depend upon authority. How much have we depended upon authority in our lives?
wow.
And authority hasn't really had us, like we're the people are not really always the thing that the laws and the authorities are really fighting for.
It's the control.
Yeah, like they're not, like so many laws aren't for our benefit. Like they're actually just for us to kind of fall in line and do, and because it's so much easier. I talk in my recovery work, I talk a lot about the idea of being under the influence. And
Hmm.
when citizens can be under the influence of authority, they often get into this place of like, just being subservient. And it's easier to be an employee, right? It's easy because all you have to do is follow the rules.
That's
But
right.
you just lose so much of your autonomy. You lose so much of yourself. And just like we were talking with Empress in number 70, if you want to know me, if you want to know you, the me that is all things, look inside your heart. And that means you're not looking inside of a rule book. You're not looking to the authorities to
Please,
tell you what.
yes,
You're not looking to religion to tell you how to pray. You're not looking to religion or authority to tell you how to be a good person. A good person is within you. Now, can you look in your heart and allow that good person to come out?
yes. This morning I got up, I went to the restroom, looked in the mirror, and I said, "Good morning, James."
Hmm.
Yeah. And I smiled. It's like, and then I said, "Good morning, Jesus. Good morning, God." It's just like brought it out of me, and I walked out of the bathroom just smiling,
Yeah.
and walked in there, made a cup of coffee, and I just felt just like I was ready. I was taking my time and getting the coffee filter together, and
Hmm.
put it was like, and then I turned this on and flipped through a few channels here, and I said, "Oh, I haven't heard the dial of the day. You know, let me hear mine."
Yeah, and it's interesting you talk about that idea of like looking in the mirror and saying hello. You know, I did a talk a while back about like God is in your bathroom mirror. Because I mean
Yeah,
I've talked to so many people who have found themselves at the end of their rope, have found themselves at their rock bottom. And when they do, they find themselves in the bathroom and they look in the mirror and they speak to God. And when we do that, when we look in the mirror and we ask God what the hell we're doing here, we're finally addressing ourselves correctly. We're finally looking at ourselves and seeing God within us. And that is why that rock bottom, and it doesn't have to be a rock bottom. It doesn't have to be like the horrible rock bottoms that you've heard. Whatever your rock bottom is, it's very often you end up in the mirror and you say, God, what the fuck? And here we are looking at this one, like when they lose their sense of awe, people turn to religion. And they don't turn to God, they turn to religion because
Christian,
religion is easy to follow. When they no longer trust themselves, when you no longer trust God, when you no longer trust the fact that, because religion is a little more open-ended. You got 10 laws in Christianity, right? You got the 10 major ones and then the 11th, which is, your neighbor as thyself and whatnot. But when they no longer trust themselves to follow those 10 rules, they depend upon authority. Why? Because authority is just going to tell you what to do.
that's right. That's right. Because I mean, when you said turn to religion, like authority, you want to be controlled by somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want someone to tell you what to do, how to do it.
That's right.
Because you don't trust yourself. And
And
that's
that,
the thing. Like growing trust for yourself is a rebellious act. Because the more you trust yourself, the less you depend upon authority.
right. Like I was saying to one person, uh, he was saying how selfish he was being, about doing other things for people's, but other people's won't do it for him. I said, well, how selfish are you being to yourself for doing that?
Right.
He said,
And
I
it,
never thought about it like that.
right. Yeah. This one continues. Therefore, the master steps back so that people won't be confused. That's the thing, as teachers or as guides, or I know you've helped people in your life, like you
Hmm.
step back so people won't be confused. And this is what I talk about when I work with my people and I tell them, like, look, I don't want you to live under my influence. That's why I only work with you 4 times, because I don't want you to have me in your back pocket as an influence. I want you to be the influence of your own. And that's, therefore the master steps back so people won't be confused as to what's right or what's wrong. There is no right or wrong. You are as you are. And we were looking at that earlier with Empress and number 70. My
Hmm.
teachings are older than the world. How can you grasp them? You don't. But if you want to know yourself, if you want to know me, the Tao, you got to look inside your heart. And that's changing like moment to moment. The things that you are just adapting to the moment that you are here.
And it's only now.
It's only now. And this is why he teaches without teaching, so that people will have nothing to learn. Imagine that. When we say in this intellectual world, people have nothing to learn, it we want to think that, oh, you're not going to learn anything, you're not going to grow, you're not going to change. We want to learn all the time. That happens anyway, but there's no curriculum. And I think that's what this is saying. Like he teaches without teaching, he teaches without a curriculum, he teaches by just being and allowing those around them to be. And when we can get those people around us to remember that there's no standard, There's no standard to weigh the to what your parents were supposed to do. So the experience that you had was perfectly normal. We talked about
Mm-hmm.
mental illness earlier with Empress. And that idea of like there being some standard is that's the thing that really I think fucks a lot of people up, is that there's a belief that there's some standard, but there isn't.
That's right. That's why I always tell people all limitations are self-imposed.
Yep, yep. The moment you have an idea of like what something is supposed to be like, well, that's an influence that you're living under.
That's right.
And that's something that came in, whether it's through your parents or the education system or the judicial system. Like there are people that believe it's supposed to be like like
Mm-hmm.
like I mean, if we want to go back to the Roe v. Wade thing, it's supposed to be illegal to have an abortion, or it's supposed to be legal that you like. Once you have a supposed to, you're living under the influence of something, because if it was supposed to be like that, it would have always been like that. It's funny when people tell me, "Is it supposed to rain today?" Supposed to rain. Is it supposed to rain? What the hell does that mean? You mean did somebody say that it might rain? Because if it's the only way that it's supposed to rain is if it does.
That's the way I could say it.
Right? Like there's no
Reality.
there's no there's no supposed to in weather. There's no supposed to. Oh, well, the earth is supposed to last forever, because that is a concept that I picked up somewhere along the way. But that's not true. You just want it to last forever because it's self-serving. Well, human beings are supposed to be on this planet forever. Well, maybe not. You don't know. As we were talking in number 70, my teachings are easy to understand, they're easy to put into practice, yet your intellect will never grasp them. Because once you put your intellect on it, everything is supposed to be something.
And it only be something when it become reality.
That's right. And it either is or it isn't.
That's right.
There's no supposed about it. And here we are. Therefore, the master steps back so people won't be confused at what's supposed to be. We don't want to. How many people can we confuse by telling them, "Oh, you're supposed to go out and have a drink with your work people on Fridays. That's what you're supposed to do." I've been sober 21 years, but here we are within a culture that tells you this is what you're supposed to go out and get a job. You're supposed to go out and do this. You're supposed to get married and have a child. You're supposed to, have a house by the time you're 35 or whatever. Like all of that creeps in. We're living under the influence of it, and it changes our entire experience of what life actually is, because we are worried about what life's supposed to be.
That's right. Yeah.
You know.
But, yeah, like I tell a lot of people, I said when I heard people say don't keep up with the Joneses, I thought that was somebody's last name, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I finally got it. I mean, you trying to keep up with something that you don't have because somebody else have it,
Yeah,
and you complaining about it or talking to somebody else about it, and trying to keep up with them, and you can't have it. It's a waste of their time and your time.
that's right. And this 72 wraps up that last line again. He teaches without teaching, so that people will have nothing to learn. Imagine if there was nothing to learn. There is nothing that is supposed to. There's nothing you're supposed to know. There's nothing you're supposed to do. You have nothing to learn, but you are here now with nothing in your head, and you just decide to plant a tree. You accidentally plant a tree. You take a walk. You talk with somebody. There's nothing you're supposed to do.
Hmm.
And here we are with nothing to learn. That doesn't mean we don't learn and grow and do all of those things, but there's no syllabus here. Your life is free to be as it unfolds.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And
72, beautiful.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I just, as soon as you said 70, and after I heard it, so wow, that was really short and sweet.
Yeah,
No, and I said 72.
that's beautiful. I'm
72.
glad. Yeah, it's another
Yeah.
short, sweet one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, I
beautiful.
mean, both of them really did come together, and just it gave me reality on more on life about who I am, and what it is that I can do, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well,
so
thank you so much, Dr. Goodman.
oh yes, thank you. I mean, I just really enjoy hearing them. A lot of time, I just sit here and listen to you. You
Yeah,
know,
I appreciate it.
and some of them just hit right on. Like
Yeah,
wow,
they do. They
I
do.
yeah, I could have said that number and it would have hit me.
Yeah, that's
Like
beautiful.
yeah, but thank you. No,
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
all right.
So, for everybody else that's listening, I want to just kind of just take a moment and appreciate everybody that's listening right now. I really love, I love doing Tao of the Day, as you guys I'm sure know, because I'm on here so often. And I'm really appreciative of everybody that steps up and wants to share a number with me and wants to share the Tao. The Tao is a beautiful book and a beautiful collection of writings. It is the canon of reason. And if you want to live a reasonable life, I suggest you go out and invest in a copy of the Tao, because the Tao is just something nice to have around. I want to thank everybody for joining me. My name is Martin John. If you are interested in working with me, check out the links. Send me a chat as well. If someone would send me a chat, that'd be great. I've never received a chat. I know this is new, so definitely send me a chat. I'd love to receive one. Other than that, my name is Martin John, and yeah, you can check me out, martinjohn.com. If you benefit from the work that I do, I would love. Thank you, Andy, for the chat. Like, that's so nice. That is so good, and then I can send a message back. That's going to be difficult, like in the in. See, now I'm writing and stuff. So yeah, that's gonna be. But I'll check it out. I'll check it out. This is pretty nice. I like that there's a chat here. Thank you so much, my love. All right. So if you're interested in anything else, check out the links in my bio. I have a lot of links. I'm turning my workshop into a digital product so that you guys will be able to access those rather than having to be around on a Tuesday when I end up doing them. You'll be able to access that. So keep in touch with me for more information about when that gets released and where you can get it. I also take financial support. If you guys like what I do, I'd love to get a tip from you at martinjohn_Garcia on. Oh, look, Catherine's out there saying hi to me. Hey, buddy, what's going on? It's nice to get these chats. I don't have to type back. I can just talk directly to you. So, yeah, so I'm wrapping up. Thank you guys so much. Catherine, I will be seeing you shortly. That'll be nice. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. All right, everybody, you have a great day. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.